Fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live. I'm a bit under the weather, so that explains my voice. I've been in the robe. I've been pretty much chilling for the last 24 hours, but I've still been counterpunching nonetheless. Let me get to the comments. Bob Garrett. Now, this was of yesterday at 6:22 when I created the live stream, so I'm just catching up as I go. Usyk was hit with 20 low blows and never once retaliated. He's a cheater because an elite referee called a low blow and gave Usyk the standard recovery time for a foul blow upheld by every institution. Bob Garrett, I don't know about 20 low blows. I don't know about that. I don't see where he got hit low 20 times. I never seen him get hit that much without Usyk being the professional that he is, that lets the person in charge aware of what's going on in the ring. If you go and if you punch anywhere near the belt line or anything, he's gonna give you a crazy look, like a look of caution, like, hey, what are you doing? Okay. That's for starters. Now, as far as the referee, you know, that is the standard recovery time. You get up to 5 minutes. Okay. It does remind me of Trinidad versus Vargas, okay, which there was no dispute on what was low and what wasn't. Those were straight up cock shots, okay? Um, they were right there. They were way under the belt line. Trinidad hit Fernando Vargas in the fourth round with a shot that could have sterilized the person. You know what I mean? Because he went down and dug under deep. You know what I mean? And then because of that, a lot of people, like Zab Judah and others, were telling them like, hey, his fellow Olympians, hey man, take 5 minutes simply because the way he got hit. Now, did Oleksandr Usyk get hit like that? No, but he did get hit, and it was deemed a low blow. So that's the standard time. So there's no other time or no other crazy ridiculous time past that particular point or that limit, which is 5 minutes. He went beyond. He went like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't crazy. What would have been crazy if he would have been down there for like 7 or 8 minutes or anywhere past 5? Okay, so that's a good counterpunch. St. Don, Bob, you make it out like that was the first time he feigned a low blow. LOL. He has always done it. Um, I know, and I'm glad. I hope St. Don is here. I'm not sure if he's here right now because I know all this was yesterday. Um, Oleksandr Usyk he's always been a guy, though, based on that. He's been a guy that's been soft in the stomach to a degree. He's very cautious of that area. So he would have been a person that, if the referee had anything to do with it, he's going to whip with it. You know what I mean? He's just going to go with the flow. So he did exactly that. We've seen that countless times, and then that's just not low blows. Those are rabbit punches. Those are, like I remember a guy got hit, and then the corner was like, "Go down, go down, go down," and he just kind of, "Oh, yeah, I'm going down." I'm like, "Dude, ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up." I'm so sick of the gaslighting, man. Stop telling us black is white and up is down. I need Usyk to win this for my sanity. Joshua did half the job for the sport. Let Usyk do the rest. I'm begging. Well, I mean, it depends on how the fight goes. If the fight happens, Mr. Showbiz Ben. All right. Get up. Get up, help. Bisbin. Okay. Conrad Francis, welcome to Counterpunch Silver. Conrad, welcome to the Elite Squad. You guys are my members. Members have access to a lot more than regular people, so welcome. I thank you for the support, and I'll see you over in the community. Okay? So if you go to the community tab, you will see more than meets the eye, Conrad. Sigh. Listening to Fury is like listening to U.S. Republicans and right wingers, where every allegation is basically an admission. Okay, I'm not really not that familiar with politics when it comes to right wing and left wing. I know what they mean, but I don't get the reference as much because I really don't, dwell in the politics. The only politics that I'm really concerned with is, like well-being and boxing. I don't really watch other sports like I used to as when I was younger. So none of that really concerns me. Bill Keaveney, member, hit the like button, gentlemen. Counterpunch to you, Bill. What is it? This is 11:34. Okay, I think this is 11:34. You guys' time. There we go. Okay, let's just start from there. Bill Keaveney, what's up, champ? He is in the building. Andrew Newby, maybe Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz in May, and Dillian White and versus Joe Joyce. Dillian White and Joe Joyce. That's cool for me. Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Listen, Andy Ruiz gets a Joshua fight that would probably be his last fight because that would be a fight that he wouldn't win. It would be an interesting fight to see what he still has left after having all that time off. In fact, Andy Ruiz at this point may get, now hear me out, people. I'll do a separate video on this, but I'm telling you guys right here and now, just right off the dome, because I just had to take a nap before this, and I'm glad that I did. AJ may stop Andy Ruiz if they fought a third time. Yeah, that's right. I said it. He may stop Andy Ruiz. Because Andy Ruiz, Andy has a good chin, bro. Luis Ortiz, being old as he was, hit Andy Ruiz with shots that any other fighter would have crumbled on. Travis Kaufman, Deontay Wilder even. And really thinking of Deontay Wilder and his fights with Luis Ortiz, that may have been a reason why Tyson was able to do it because, Wilder took a lot of unnecessary shots because of his defense or lack of. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't look at it like that. Deontay Wilder, just like guys like Joe Joyce, I think Joe Joyce was rather more extreme because I think his chin was a lot better. But, you only have so many time, people, so many hits that you can take to your dome before your resistance is no longer there. Yeah. So, Luis Ortiz can crack, in other words. And if Luis Ortiz can crack, and we know AJ can crack because AJ put him down for the first time, so it's not out of the question, especially after that, because think about it. He got put down by Chris Arreola as well, the fight coming back in 2021 when he had a year and a half layoff. So he got dropped by Chris Arreola with what? A right hand. Where? Right here. Okay, he got belted. Or should I say he got caught right here, right? So the dude can go down. His punch resistance is probably fleeting. Andy's is. So if he does get that fight, he probably won't fight again because he'll probably get stopped. And based on the fact that he looks too highly of anything, because if it happens in Saudi Arabia, and he was the guy that him and AJ kicked off the Saudi Arabia fleet of fights, there you go. He'll never fight again. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Let's go. Uh, Wilder and AJ now. Well, that's a what if. And it's a what if, not saying I don't want it to happen. I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty good fight, but it's not. It wouldn't be as big as it was if he would have beat Parker. Parker diluted that fight. He cut that fight. Excuse me. He cut that fight interest in half, man. That's what he did. When he went upside Wilder's head and beat him and outboxed him and outworked him and rocked him a couple times. He didn't drop him, but he beat him up. Showed people this is just a man with lack of defense, and now he has or seems to have a lack of offense. That's what he showed the world in Saudi Arabia on the day of reckoning on the co-main event. That's what he showed us. People then looked at the fight like, I don't know. So then everybody viewed their attention back on the idea of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua and Usyk 3 times. All right, so, would I want to see Deontay Wilder take on Anthony Joshua? Sure. Only if that was an option, because realistically, this is how it works. The Saudi Arabians, His Excellency, is not really talking about that fight, because he knows, well, Wilder, he has to show us who he really is. He's made comments about Wilder after the loss. He has to show us that Wilder is Wilder. That wasn't Wilder we saw in Days of Reckoning. That's what he said out of his own mouth. He said, hey, we want to see the real Wilder. So it's not over for him. Now, we're not hearing that about Jarrell Miller. All we heard was Jarrell Miller was just talking a lot of smack. But hey, he at least gave Deontay Wilder the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so, but I don't think it starts with a guy that's won his last 2 fights, that beat up, retired Otto Eileen in 5 rounds, and knocked out Francis Ngannou, that gave Tyson Fury hell in 2. So I don't really see that being, oh, here they go, guys. I hate these spam calls. They call all day like it's a job. I'll tell you about that later. Joseph Parker KO'd Simon Keane. Yeah. Where's Simon Keane? I don't know. Deontay Wilder versus Simon Keane. All right. Marlon Thornell. What's good, Kurt? Counterpunch, brother. Counterpunch to you, Marlon, in the building. Stewart, what's good? Counterpunch to you, Mr. Isaac. Ruiz said Ortiz punches harder than AJ. He said the only reason AJ dropped him was because he didn't see the punch coming, but Ortiz still dropped him even when he saw the punch. I remember when he did say that. He said, I could see the punch coming and I still couldn't dodge it. I got hit. Damn. Andy Ruiz is funny, man. He is a funny character. He's a funny guy. Andy has a chin. But then I think they should be asking him who hits harder out of the 3. Because what was his excuse when he got dropped by Chris Arreola? And that was a fight in between AJ and Luis Ortiz. What does he say about that? Because this boy got dropped and he got hurt. That was the 2nd round. That was the 2nd round. And he got dropped in the 2nd round. And then he got hurt again with a left hook in the 3rd. And that could have just been because he just lost too much weight and he lost too much energy and power, because he probably didn't have all of his, his levels the way they supposed to. It's crazy about a car and how a car works. How you need the right coolant, or the car doesn't work the way it's supposed to. You know what I mean? You can burn things up if you don't have the proper water or coolant in that. Just like a human needs water and electrolytes, and he needs different levels of different things. And I think Andy Ruiz had a lack of what he needed. You know what I mean? So, but still, given he is a guy that has a good chin, but I think Andy Ruiz, though, it's going to be a time where that won't matter. But we don't know that about Andy because Andy doesn't fight enough. So Andy has a problem. Andy Ruiz's problem, he has 3 things wrong with him. 1, he doesn't fight enough. 2, his father. 3, his ego. Okay, those are the 3 major problems with Andy Ruiz. It's not the fact that he can't fight. You know, everyone has their flaws inside the ring, but those are 3 flaws outside the ring. You won't get your ass in the ring to fight like you're supposed to, for 1. For 2, you don't have the engine or someone pushing you to get you the fights to get you in the ring, for 2. And for 3, since you fought AJ twice, ruined you, so you can't see yourself fighting these other guys. I'm surprised really that he fought Luis Ortiz, even when Luis Ortiz was about 51, 52 years old, realistically. That man's old. That man's old. Listen, guys, let me tell you something. You ever heard the saying, black don't crack? Have you guys heard that saying? Hey, black don't crack, right? It's a cool saying to say if you're a black guy. Or if you're from African descent, hey man, black don't crack, brown stay around, or brown sticks around. Okay, well, if you look at Luis Ortiz as a African person from African descent, you know, based on him being from the Caribbean, just like me, you could say that, right? You can say black don't crack. Well, Luis Ortiz is claiming to be my age. He is not my age, bro. I'm sorry. Luis Ortiz is not my age. He is not. That man is probably about 10 years older than me. You know what I mean? Luis Ortiz is like Fanon's age and guys up there. He was probably born in probably 72, 71. He's like Tupac's age. He's like Mike Epps' age. Maybe guys like, you know, he's up there. Okay, he's not, you know, he's definitely middle-aged. You know, white means fight. Robert Badea, I like that. Counterpunch to you. Carl Close, get over it already. The ref deemed it a low blow, end of. Ruiz was like a T-Rex, tiny little arms, but ferocious on the inside. I mean, you'd have to if you got tiny little arms. You know who had tiny little arms that I was crazy about when he fought? That he no longer fights just due to the damage that he took when he was fighting because he had very, very, very thin skin. Ruslan Provandakov, if you guys remember him. Dude, I used to like that dude. I became a fan when he fought Tim Bradley. When he fought Tim Bradley, after Tim Bradley, you know, was given a win over Manny Pacquiao and people lost their minds. I mean, Manny Pac-Man fans and alike lost their ever-loving mind. They were just batshit crazy over that decision. They started threatening Timothy Bradley and everything, his family, his dad's family, and you know what I mean? That was ridiculous. You know, but people do extreme things that a lot of people don't really acknowledge, okay? You know, let me break a little history lesson down for you. For an example, just a minute, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Maravilla, okay? Maravilla was a Argentinian fighter, okay? Why is his name fleeting me now? I know it's Maravilla. Who is Maravilla? Keep the faith. What's up, Kurt? Hit that like button, fellas. Yes, please hit that like button. Got over 100 people in here. Let's do the damn thing. Let's go. Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller. No, it's not Castillejo. Javier, no. What's his name, guys? Help me out here. What's Maravilla's name from Argentina? He was the middleweight champion for a while until he got shut down by Miguel Cotto. Sergio, there we go. Thank you. I was like, dude, what's up? You know, I just woke up, though. I'm kind of refreshed, but I am sick. I'm under the weather. Dude, I went to the gym yesterday. I left the gym, and this weather in the South, it's like it could be beautiful, like 70 degrees, 80 degrees, 70, 80. Then it could dip down to like 40. So it was like 40 all yesterday. And because it was 40 yesterday, I came out sweating. And like after I took a shower and all that good stuff, I started feeling shitty. Okay, so yeah. But anyway, back to Sergio Martinez. Sergio Martinez, his house was vandalized by Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fans. Yeah, they had to make a police report and everything on it. So yeah, people are look, fans are nuts, man. Fans are nuts. Emotion is not a word. They take action of violence. You know what I'm saying? G Stacks 814. Ortiz versus Chisora, Ruiz versus Sanchez. That's more like it. That's more like it. You put Andy in there. If Andy thinks has a standard or a higher standard than most heavyweights that ain't fought in God knows when, he needs to get up there and fight at a certain level and show us why he belongs in the category with AJ and even Deontay at this point. Even Deontay took an L. Okay, I could see that fight happening too. But Andy Ruiz fighting Anthony Joshua only enables Andy Ruiz that much more because that's what Andy wants. And I don't think Andy deserves that. I don't think Andy deserves a fight with AJ. And this man ain't fought. Think about it, people. This man has not fought since 2022. Since like October. So you have October, November, December, all of 2023, January, February, March. Okay, so that's a year and a half right there. This man hasn't fought. And before that, it was another year and a half. He fought in 21 in May. So he goes from May all the way. So May of 21. All of 21 goes by. He didn't fight again. Then he goes from 2022 all the way to October. Okay, so this man hasn't fought. And before that, it was 2019. So this man doesn't fight like that. This man fights every year and a half. So that's not a lot of times when you start adding, hey, a year and a half, fight. Another year and a half, fight. Then it's another year and a half. He still hasn't fought. So yeah. Put his ass in there with the Cuban Flash. Put him in there with Cuban Flash. Put him there with Frank Sanchez. Let's see what he does. Let's see if he can handle him. That would make more sense. And if he doesn't handle a top heavyweight that's high on the WBC rankings like Frank Sanchez, he doesn't belong in the rankings too. And I want to see if Mauricio Suleiman does Andy Ruiz like he did Francis Ngannou, which I'm totally against. I'm totally against what he did with Francis. That was wrong what Mauricio did with him. This man went from 14 to 24. No. Was it 14 or was it 10 or 12? He was like 10, 12, or 14. I think it was 12. But this man, they put this man down. Ruiz should be banned. Juice head. Didn't think he was on the juice. I never heard that one. I know he was on the weed and he had an IV. Maybe the IV conveys that he was cheating, but I don't know. Carl Young, Andy has only fought twice since losing to Joshua. Yeah, that was about 5 years ago. That's a long time, bro. And you fought twice in 5 years. Yeah, that's bad. So, and then Andy's not going to fight anyone worth anything. He's not going to do that because Andy wants too much money for fighting someone that you've heard of. He just wants too much money, and then that's the problem that he's given other heavyweights. But we've talked about that, of course, with Andy Ruiz, but as of now, I hereby sentence Andy Ruiz, further on the redemption list. I know he's there. I know like guys like Dillian White's there. AJ, I have to reevaluate AJ, but AJ's coming off of there, just like Dillian White once upon a time did. But a lot of people are there. Deontay Wilder's there. So I have to update that list. So, stay tuned for that. Christopher Stamp. It's too early to say Sanchez is a top heavyweight. No, it's not. No, it's not too early to say he's a top heavyweight. Just based on the whole idea that he's fought and beat whoever's in front of him. Junior Fa was picked for Frank Sanchez. Junior Fa was a better opponent than Philip Ergovic has, But guess what? Philip Hrgovic had probably the worst opponent. You know what I mean? But where's Philip Hrgovic? Philip Hrgovic is the mandatory for the IBF. Frank Sanchez is like number 3 on the WBC. But guess what? I think he's the only one that actually earned to be there. Okay. So again, when we talk about guys that are not elite, well, I think what we need to understand the difference between being a top heavyweight but versus being the best heavyweight are two different things. Two different things. Because see, look, we haven't seen a Frank Sanchez take on a Philip Hrgovic or a Daniel Dubois taking on a Hrgovic or a Frank Sanchez versus a Daniel Dubois. We haven't seen those fights to see what happens in those outcomes. I do agree. We don't have enough fighters fighting each other to see who is who. We don't, because a lot of these fighters have different routes to the crown. They have different paths, and they never have to cross paths, unfortunately. So we don't know who's top or not. He's a top heavyweight, but is he the best? We don't know. I think that's the thing we should say. Is Frank Sanchez the best heavyweight? We don't know that. But you can't say he's not a top heavyweight based on who he's been in the ring with. Owl. Who. So, no, Ruiz ducked Deontay. Ruiz, I think, is ruined. I think his ego has been affected greatly since 2019. It will never be the same. That's why you haven't seen him a lot. See, he cherry-picked in 2021 against Chris Arreola. He knew that. Everybody was like, man, that's a cherry pick. You fought. Look, at the time, people, Chris Arreola at the time was 40 years old. Think about it. In 2021, Chris Arreola was 40, bro. The saving grace for Chris Arreola was this man had decided to stop the bad habits that he had when he was young. That's what happens to a lot of people. And it damn near paid off. He just wasn't as good as Andy Ruiz because Andy was, Jesus. How old was Andy in 2021? How old is he now? He was 34. So he was what, 31? 30? Okay, so yeah, he had 10 years the advantage on someone that old. He was fighting a 40-year-old. But Chris Arreola started eating better because you remember he was saying he looked better. Chris Arreola had tits, bro, when he was like supposed to have been, he comes out of the Olympics. I think he was a silver medalist. He comes out of the Olympics and he comes up short a lot. The Klitschko fight, the two Stavern fights, that's Stavern's claim to fame. He beat Chris Arreola, the Olympian. That's his claim to fame. Oop, oop. That's his claim to fame. Okay, but Chris Arreola was badly built, and you could tell he ate like shit. He didn't eat good, or his diet sucked, bro. His diet sucked. Dude had tits. And then when he fought Andy Ruiz at 40, you could tell he was eating better. He was training better. He was taking his career seriously because he knew, hey, I don't have time to mess around, so I better take this seriously like I should have been doing throughout my career. Okay, so Chris Arreola, looked like he was in good shape. And look, he went 12 rounds with Andy Ruiz and dropped him once. So there you go. Not saying Sanchez is not good, Kurt. Just saying he hasn't proven he is top. Just like Fury hasn't beaten nobody of note since Vlad. That's why many think Fury is average. I think Fury, here's the thing. You don't beat Wilder and you don't beat Klitschko way that long ago to prove you're the best. Is Tyson Fury top? I think I can give Tyson that. He's one of the top fighters based on who he's fought. The problem is Vladimir ain't fought since 2017. And Wilder, the only person that he's beat since 2019 has been his old sparring partner, Helenius. Okay? He hasn't won since then. So, yeah, it's looking more and more like, hey, Tyson Fury has to show that he is the person that he claims to be. The only problem is perception, fans, protection. Those type of factors are the reason why Tyson is where he's at. Andy Ruiz versus Usyk wins because he hasn't fought for 2 years. That's a whole thing. Like Andy Ruiz doesn't need to be in any of those categories. Andy is good enough to, for us to anticipate him coming back to the ring, but he has to show us something too to go to that next level. I agree. He should have been on the Days of Reckoning. He could have been, and that would have been that Andy Ruiz being on the Days of Reckoning along with Zili Zhang probably would have completed that whole. That those were the two puzzle pieces. They could have replaced. Andy Ruiz could have replaced Mark Demori and fought Filibergovic. Then they could have put Zili Zhang in there and put him in there with Frank Sanchez. Or they could have switched them. That could have been Andy Ruiz versus Zili Zhang. Man, these guys are ridiculous. They call all the time. We need a heavyweight Super 6, Super 8 series. Carl, I think we just had that in December. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what that was. You know, he's got to get out of Los Angeles. The place has ruined him. No, I think the AJ fights has ruined him. Maybe all the weed if he's a smoker like we see. I think Andrew Ruiz smokes a lot of weed, and now you think about it, you seen him all smiling with the two big bags of weed, the cannabis he was holding that his ex tried to expose him on. I think Andy takes long layoffs because Andy probably smokes a huge amount of weed. Now, if you think about it, his sway and the way he talks, he sounds like a pothead talking about Snickers and all that stuff. Who really talks about Snickers a lot? I used to smoke weed back in the day. I know you listen. The only thing you want to do is lay around, watch movies, play video games, and eat from time to time. Because when I was doing that, I was younger, real younger, much younger. Yeah, I did want some tang. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the stuff Mr. Miyagi used to promote either. Drink tang. Hype. you know? Weird how Kurt focuses on age of fighters unless it is King Kong Ortiz. I was just talking about King Kong Ortiz. I don't even know what you're talking about. Where you been? I just had a whole segment about how old he was. Counterpunch. Okay, Bob Garrett. Dubois quit after taking a beating from Usyk after saying he'd rough up and stop the cruiserweight. Yeah, that's what gave him and put a stamp on him being a bona fide quitter at the time. He's just now redeeming himself, fighting Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller would have been the last nail for Daniel Dubois in the coffin that Daniel put himself in. Okay? See, if like I told you guys about Dubois and Miller, if Miller would have beat Dubois, walked him down, and here's the thing, people. I think Dubois won that fight. Yeah, he was focused. He was focused because he knew I have to beat this dude up. I have to use my boxing ability. I have to be focused, and I have to stay away from his big punches. Okay, we all know Jarrell Miller is accustomed to getting hit, so he knew he was going to get hit. But one thing he didn't anticipate was him running out of gas. But I don't see how you couldn't have thought that. That man was fat. Jarrell Miller's a big, chunky ass dude. He's husky. He's husky. Like a buffalo. Not saying a buffalo is like weak, but they're big, bro. That's why people love them. I love buffalo meat. It's delicious. That's the best protein that you could probably have from a cow. A buffalo. Dude, yeah. He's like a big ass buffalo. And he ran out of gas. And if it wasn't for him running out of gas, people, that fight would have went a totally different way. I predict when he started to connect with Danny Dubois, like maybe in the third round, fourth round, he had some pretty decent success against Dubois, okay? But he started to run out of gas. If it wasn't for that, we don't know how that fight would have went. I predict that fight with Danny Dubois versus Jarrell Miller would have went totally different. because I think eventually, see, even with Daniel Dubois, think about it. When did he quit against Joe Joyce? Yes, I said quit, 10th round. When did he go down and stay down against the jab against Usyk? 9th round. Okay, so yes, that fight would have went differently had he started taking punishment from round 4, and then Jarrell Miller started to connect and started hurting him with the accumulation of shots. I think that breaking point would have come again on him or upon him once again, people. I think that's what would have happened to Daniel Dubois. He would have kept getting hit, and then that mentality of, oh man, I don't like this stuff. I don't like this shit. He's hitting me too much. He's walking through my shots. And I think Jarrell Miller started running out of gas, but he also started missing, which makes you run out of gas more. See, when you start throwing shots and missing them, that disperses a lot of energy, especially if you're 40, 50 pounds overweight like Jarrell Miller. I know damn well he was. See, that's what happens, people, though, when you shortcut. Yeah. When you take the easy route, when you do the soldier boy route, hello, the boys, if you guys watch that. Yeah, when you start taking drugs instead of hard work and dedication, instead of, Jarrell Miller looked the way he looked. He was still husky, but the drugs kept his heart rate, and it helped him. It kept him where he felt he needed to be. That was a shortcut. Now he realizes, like, yo, I really have to do this naturally. So I really have to eat. Put the cheeseburgers down. Now let's get a salad with chicken, with protein. You know what I mean? Let's drink more water. Let's put down the sodas and the Coca-Cola and the Pepsi and the Mountain Dews and the Sprites. Let's get this right. Bars. Let's lose this weight probably for the first time naturally, and that's what's making it so hard for Jarrell Miller. Okay, Jarrell Miller should have been on the level that Andy Ruiz was on, as far as on the treadmill. Every time you seen Andy's ass, he was on the treadmill. Jarrell Miller should have been the same way. He should have had his big ass on the treadmill trying to lose weight and working on stamina. That's what he should have been doing. That's what a lot of people do in lower weight classes when they have been away from the game in between fights and they've gained too much weight. They spend most of their training camp trying to lose weight instead of a strategy. Well, if you're a heavyweight, you need to get to a point that you can withstand 10 to 12 rounds. Okay? AJ versus Caballero would be a great, credible fight. AJ versus Caballero would be a great fight. Why? I have no objection, because those were the winners of the Days of Reckoning. I think the Days of Reckoning should mean a lot more than I think that it's getting credit for now, looking at it. Because now you have a slew of people that don't have a home. You know what I mean? Yeah, we had this big card. Shout out to Turkey Al-Sheikh, but I think there should be follow-up fights. What about the losers? What about a redemption opportunity for the fighters that lost? You know what I mean? The Mark Demoris, the Jarrell Millers, the Deontay Wilders. You know what I mean? You can't take half the losers and let the others go to the wayside, unless we never heard of them, like Mark Demori, and, Junior File was not really, recognizable. He didn't really, he got beat. He got stopped by Lucas Brown. Jarrell Miller just stopped Lucas Brown. Okay? Older fighter, though. Go figure. Okay? Andy Ruiz wants the money. But back to Andy Ruiz for a minute. The hemp. Think about it. Yeah, I think he does. I think he smokes a lot of weed. And that's what's legal in California. Go figure. Weed. You can be out there smoking. I mean, you smell it like people, used to smoke cigarettes all the time. And you smell like the cigarette smoke. Like, dude, somebody's smoking a cigarette out here. Now it's, California. You go to Cali, you see weed everywhere. When Fury stops Usyk, maybe the people will recognize him as a great. Keep the faith. I think if Tyson Fury stops Usyk, I think that he will be looked at as the best heavyweight. You have to give him that at that point. However, could he beat everybody? Is he a Muhammad Ali? No. Why? Because Muhammad Ali fought all these guys. So before you say, hey, I beat Usyk, there's no need to fight Joshua. You're messing up. You missed the point. See, for one thing you do to one guy that beats that guy, that next guy that got beat could probably beat you, and that's Joshua. You know what I mean? Hey, beat Joshua, Joyce, Dubois. There's a lot of fights that you could have. See, people were mad at Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury did not need to bring Francis Ngannou in and make him credible. And he made him credible by the performance or the lack of that he had or gave. You know, and then people looked at Tyson Fury in a whole different light. See, yeah, he could redeem himself by coming back so he can talk some more shit. Yeah, I beat Usyk the middleweight, and I'm the man. I don't have to fight no more. Matter of fact, I'm going to retire. That sounds like something Tyson would do. Tyson would tell you, you know what? I beat the middleweight. He beat Anthony Joshua twice. Joshua, you're finished. That's what he'll do. Kurt, I've heard that Eddie here and Frank Warner are going to watch clock look whoever wins Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, or Usyk on Fury. I don't know. It's got kind of weird now since the rematch clause from Zhilei Zhang doesn't look all that valid, which is, I don't think that's fair to Zhang though, honestly. Sanchez versus Zhang would have been great. Yeah, that would be great. That would be a dangerous fight for Frank. Andy in top shape is, and the new. Well, Andy has that chin. If he comes in good shape, it's just like here's the problem with Andy. I don't care what shape Andy's in. That's not my problem. That's not the point. If he is great, if he's not, really, who cares? Why? Because we ain't seen him fight. I don't care about his, I'm ready, look at my legs, they're stocky and tough and strong. And he does have some stocky legs. It's like Andy's working himself from the ground up. Because he still has Andy's just bad built, bro. Let's just face it, he's bad built. He's this muffin top like build, and probably him, Tyson Fury, guys like that, they're built bad. They're just because they were bigger and then they got smaller. You know what I mean? And Andy's always been big. He's always suffered from obesity. Tyson Fury, I think he just started getting wasted and just started eating bad because he's already arrived. But yeah, I mean, Andy is a guy that he's dangerous, but he has his flaws. He doesn't really cut off the ring much. A guy that can box him can beat him. Joseph Parker showed us that. Anthony Joshua showed us that. And others may possibly show us that as well, because he's not a traditional Mexican fighter in the sense that, hey, he works for everything that he has or can do in the ring. That's why he lost to Joseph Parker. He didn't do enough work. He waited for Parker to stand still long enough for him to throw his own combinations, but they weren't enough. Okay, so Andy's not a guy that gets and takes everything he's earned by cutting the ring off and actually working. And he's fighting for every punch landed, every body shot. You know what I mean? He's constantly cutting the ring off. He's working for those angles and cutting off those angles for those guys that try to move left, so he goes right, and they try to go right and he moves left. He needs to learn that, and I don't think he does. But then that may be a flaw of the Reynosos. Think about it. The Reynosos were like that. Think about Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez. Okay, those guys have the same style. High guard, bob and weave to get in and attack. Not necessarily cutting the ring off. You know what I mean? Not in the sense of the Mexican style. No. Now Andy likes to exchange because he knows, well, I can take his punch, but can he take mine? But then Andy has a bad habit. Okay, when he does exchange, he's normally the shorter guy. Since he's the shorter guy, he likes to throw wide punches. Those wide punches normally stray behind the head, or he's going to catch you in the temple. And temple shots are not easily taken. Okay, they're not getting hit in the temple is not a normal thing. Ask Deontay Wilder, ask Anthony Joshua. Ask himself, because he got hit in the temple by Chris Arreola with that straight right. He didn't get hit here. He didn't get here or here. He got hit here, and that totally put him down. Okay. AJ smoked weed. Yeah, he smoked weed when he was a kid. Yeah. And goes back to PFL. Okay. Give Kurt a like, guys. Robert Bedea. Yeah, let's hit that like button. We got 200 people in here, and we got 68 likes. You know, my last live stream, not the last one, but the one before that, like Sunday, like you got 40,000 views with 100 likes. So you mean to tell me over thousands of people watched that with, like just like a few likes? That was ridiculous. Miller is over the hill. Done. We don't know where Miller ever. We see when you take drugs, you never really know your true potential. Derek Chisora versus Charles Martin. Yeah, okay. I would. That would be a good fight to see. I think Martin gets Derek Chisora at this point, though. I wouldn't have said that 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but I think now. I think Chris Martin. Chris Martin. What? Charles Martin would have taken out Derek. He would take out Derek Chisora now. Miller 300 pounds. Ha! Stampede. Memuna. Kamara. Afternoon, Kurt. Love from the UK. Counterpunch to you, Memuna. Counterpunch to you. Daniel Peg. What's Usyk done? Well, back to the topic of Oleksandr Usyk. Here we go, people. Tyson Fury's latest rant. He petitioned to whoever would listen that Oleksandr Usyk's a cheat. Oleksandr Usyk did slick stuff like claim that he was hit low. He's basically going the Don Charles route. You know, Don Charles was pissed because of what the referee ruled. And he thinks because Oleksandr Usyk went with him, he thought that he was cheap because he wasn't as hurt as he did. You know, now, here's the thing. Did Oleksandr Usyk, was he bullshitting a bit? Yeah. But I think that's the game. And believe it or not, that's a part of ring generalship. You know what I mean? Ring generalship means you fight. You're the fighter that makes the fight go affect the way that fight goes. You sway the way that fight goes. The referee made a decision, and he went with what the referee went with. Now, was he really that hurt? It's kind of hard to say because his arm was shaking. Like, what's going on with this dude? Did he get hit that hard? Big Baby is always hungry. 280 pounds, Miller would be dangerous. Yeah, that's because that means that dude was 323 pounds. If he was 280, really 275, nothing over 270. Wait, okay, 280 should be his stopping point. If Jarrell Miller was 280 pounds, that means, hey man, you're getting a little big. You shouldn't be anywhere over 280. Nowhere near 280. He should be between 270 and 280. Because he's still a big dude. You don't want to, I think he's naturally a big husky cat. He's like a defensive back. I picked Miller to beat Dubois. Miller usually had a great gas tank when he was on the EPO and the other PEDs. Yeah, Carl Young, because he took the easy route. He took a shortcut. He cheated. And then that's the problem with him now, because he's used to that help. He's used to, popping those pills or taking the needle to his ass or whatever. He's used to that. Where's Dave Allen? No, I don't know. I don't know where the white rhino is. I'm Andy Ruiz. I love taco and burritos. That's not right. AJ, let's go, baby. I need money for more Snickers. Weed is great, perfect med for my ME. Only way I can exercise. What's ME? Where's Shane Fury? I haven't seen him. Shane's chilling with his kids. Did Dominic Breazeale retire from boxing? Yeah, he's done. I I think his last fight was against Otto Wylien, and that was a couple years ago. And Otto Wylien just outboxed him like he does everybody. You know what I mean? So I mean, he's nothing to really write home about. If Zhang versus Parker rematch doesn't happen, it shows contracts in Saudi Arabia don't mean much. I have a feeling if Fury wins on May 18th, they freeze Usyk out and AJ and Fury fight in September. Glenn, you know what? I think that same thing. I think that same thing. I think everything is against Oleksandr Usyk. I think everything is against him. His age, the political status. Okay, I think a lot of things are against him at this point. You know what I mean? Because see, everyone's saying, well, if Usyk wins, he'll fight whoever he's supposed to fight. Well, here's the thing. Usyk is in the same position as Terrence Crawford. He was the guy that he's not getting the most money. He's taking less to show that he wants to be great. Terrence Crawford already beat Errol Spence, but it was a rematch clause attached to it. So even if Oleksandr Usyk beats Tyson Fury, he would still be locked into a contract as long as Tyson Fury takes to make his mind up to fight him again. Okay, so you have to understand that, and I don't, and see, here's the thing. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, there was no go-to fight. That wasn't a bridger fight of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. That was the fight. Okay. See, the problem with Usyk now, we have all these other people that's coming into the game. We got Francis Ngannou and now AJ's came back, and now those are other possibilities. See, Tyson Fury has options. Yeah, he has options now. It's not all about Usyk anymore. See, when Anthony Joshua was pretty obsolete, and then Deontay Wilder, we haven't really seen him fight since Hellenius. The biggest fight that we could ever see possible is the undisputed fight, and that was between Usyk and Tyson Fury. Now, though, we have a whole idea of AJ fighting Tyson Fury again, because AJ has beat the guys that gave Tyson, a run for his money, a real run for his money, especially Ngannou. He beat Otto Wylien in my eyes, but still, Anthony Joshua did it better. So now the Usyk fight, a guy that has beat Daniel Dubois, a guy that has beat Anthony Joshua twice, a guy that is aging, and he will be 38 years of age in January of next year, which is a while away, mind you, but still. I don't think it's in his favor because he's older, and there's a bigger fight that can be made market-wise. Let's just hope. See, I don't think Turki Al-Sheikh is really for money. He's not doing it for the money. But that doesn't mean the people that's under him, like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, they are in it for the money. That's why they're able to get along, because he's like, okay, guys, Eddie, Frank, sit down. Put your differences aside. Here's the money for this fight. Gosh, kiss and make up. Let's call a truce. They did that. Look, money talks, bullshit runs a marathon. Turki Al-Sheikh set Frank down, set Eddie down, and said, all right, Frank, Eddie, look, here's the money. I'm here for the sport of boxing. They heard it. All right, where's the money? What about the money? And he knows. Well, we're going to offer $60 million. Oh, yeah. You think they're going to have an objection on a neutral? Look, Turki Al-Sheikh is a neutral person. It's a neutral. It's like heaven for a promoter. Eddie and Frank died and went to heaven. They went to promoter's heaven. That's what happened. Why do you think Oscar all of a sudden, Oscar De La Hoya, I think we need to fight together. We need to fight, guys. We need to work together, because he doesn't want to be left out. He wants to go to promoter heaven too. Yeah. Usyk cheated Triple D. Robert Badea, Usyk did cheat Triple D. He treated Triple D how? Legal blow? The punch was legal? Legal blow? Okay. I remember Floyd being protected by the refs against Hatton, by not allowing Hatton to hit in the clinch. Sounds like Fury is worried about something similarly happening. Well, hitting a clinch. Um, no, I think that fight was pretty much how it was going to go. Ricky Hatton and Floyd, the ref got it wrong. Well, according to other refs, did he? According to other referees, did he get it wrong? See, we talk about, boxing analysts, commentators, fighters. What about the referees? What did the referees have to say? Okay, and the only one that really spoke on it thoroughly was um, Joe Cortez. Joe Cortez said, "Well, um, I would have gave Dubois a warning." Well, why would you give him a warning if it? Because he did say it was a legal blow, but I would have gave him a warning. If it was legal, why would you need to give him a warning? See, hearing stuff like that only confuses the situation more. Be like Vlad versus Fury fight. I don't think it will. Sup, Kurt? James Abood. If Usyk beats Fury twice convincingly and retires, how do you rank him historically? Is he right up there with Holyfield? Yeah, he would have fulfilled, and I think he would be up there with Holyfield. I do think though he wouldn't have a better resume than Holyfield. Um, he will be up there with him. He's earned his keep. He's done what he's supposed to do in the sport of boxing, and it didn't take 25 fights to get there because he did it all the right way. You know, the Ukrainian mindset and the way they look at victories, the Olympics is the pinnacle anyway. So Vasyl Lomachenko, in other words, he's done everything that he's supposed to do anyway. He's done the biggest thing already, and he did it twice. The pros is just to get the money up so he can go live good with his family and go fish and hunt and pray and go to church and hang out and play soccer like most of them do anyway, right? They live pretty simple lives, bro. I think Usyk, he likes to, rave and dance and stuff like that. You can tell he's a little wild, but I mean, they pretty much still do the same stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, Usyk and Holyfield, the thing is, Holyfield fought everybody. He fought everybody. I mean, the only person that I didn't think he fought was Tua, and he sparred with Tua a lot. So that was one guy he didn't fight. You know what I mean? And poor Ika Berebucci, he didn't really fight long enough to see or to have those fights. That would have eventually happened. The Holyfield fights, the Tyson fights, the Lewis fights. You know what I mean? Those would have been crazy, crazy. Man, that would have been a treat for the boxers, the boxing fans. You clowns assume that Usyk has already won. Anthony Schultz, what's up, brother? Big Kurt, much love, my brother. Are you gonna go live for Loma and Cambosos? God bless. What day is that? What day is that? Let me know when you're ready. I'll put the order in for you, brother, by the way. Invincible Cloak Productions, The Bow Theory. Mohammed Rehan. I can't wait to see how Fury reacts to when he loses. Will he retire or fight Joshua or rematch Usyk? Well, if he loses, he's going to have to rematch Usyk. There's no Joshua fight at that point. At that point, if he loses, they have to understand and live with the reality that Usyk beat Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah. I was trying to look for a good comparison, like maybe De La Hoya with Manny Pacquiao, because Pacquiao came around and started beating people. He started beating Cotto, and he beat Oscar De La Hoya, and then he beat Shane Mosley. Then Ricky Hatton knocked him out cold. Stuff like that. So, Kurt, are you on that Tyson Fury package? Why are you sniveling? Nah, man, I'm sick. I worked out yesterday. Had a great workout session, man. I'm on ashwagandha. So I've been taking ashwagandha for the last week, No, actually for the last week and a half. So I've been taking that, zinc, and what else? Oh, and biotin, right? That's the only three supplements that I take. Just got She Legit, so I'm gonna start that next week. Well, yesterday I went to the gym early and it was cold. And I did legs. So not only I got sore legs, but now I started. And when I got home, it was cold. I had my head covered and all that. So I had some shorts, but I was sweating. So when I came home, I made breakfast. I ate 5 eggs and avocado for breakfast. Right, had a nice clean breakfast. Right, so got in the shower, got out of the shower. Then I started noticing, like, dude, I got like a swallow and I start feeling it like right here. I'm like, it wasn't bad yet. Then all of a sudden I start swelling, then I start feeling these aches. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh shit, I hope I'm not coming down with COVID. You know what I mean? Like that shit's rare, but it's still out there. Bars. Tyson Fury says the same shit you've been sniffling. Yeah, yo. Okay. Get Will Kurt, Robert Badea, appreciate you, man. Brian Patrol. And on top of that, people, to put it out there, this is March and April. March and April are my worst months because pollen. So we have pollen here. In Louisiana, you have regular pollen. Here you have in Texas, you have this damn cedar pollen. And it sucks. So I think a combination in between that, Usyk is not in his prime, but he'll beat Fury. He's not in his prime no more. So that is what I'm really interested in seeing if he can do so. I think he's past it. I think he's peaked a few. Oleksandr Usyk peaked about 3 years ago. Nah, rematch is worth more money. Well, if Tyson Fury's doing it for the money, which I don't think it would be for the money if he lost, because he won't get more money than Usyk if he loses. Usyk will get more money, but then Tyson Fury will do it if it's for the money. He would do it because, hey, this guy beat me. I'm just looking for the excuses because it shows you the mentality of people. It does. I mean, it really does. It just shows you that, hey, you know what? What kind of character does this person have? Tyson Fury wants Tommy Fury and Roman Fury to fight Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Yeah, that man, those are clown fights to me, man. I hope Tyson knocks out Jake Paul and sends him back to YouTube world with his brother. I'm really sick of them at this point because they get all this buzz for nothing. And the only reason they get this buzz like that because they have a platform. If those guys had no platform, they wouldn't be, who would be the Pauls really? They're YouTubers that turn into boxers. And then people didn't take them seriously anyway. It's supposed to have been a fad. Jake Paul made it realistic, but Jake Paul curved the perception of people by knocking out people that either weren't boxers or they were older fighters. That's it. Alexander, where's St. Don? Eat your porridge, Kurt. Clear that right up. I have a shot here, man. I have a shot of Willet. I'm going to take it here in a little bit. 3 fights, Bo, and 2 fights versus Lewis. And Tyson in top of a couple of solid knockout defeats. That's a lot of punishment. Andre, come to the UK. Kurt, he did give him warnings. He told him to keep it clean. The fight on May 11th, brother, and I'll be sending the money on the 1st. Okay, no problem. The 1st of April? Because it's the 1st of April, I'll put the order in, if it's the 1st of April. Just inbox me like we've been doing, and we'll be good. We'll be good. Usyk peaked 3 years ago. He didn't look that good against Chisora 3 years ago. Well, for one, the man had COVID. For two, he said he didn't fight, and he didn't show his full potential in that fight anyway. That's what he said. He said, I didn't really show. I fooled you guys. I tricked you guys. And I could believe it at this point. He didn't look anywhere. I think if you got the Usyk, I don't think he was worried about Chisora like everybody thought. because everybody was with that mindset that he couldn't take bigger heavyweights. He couldn't take a real heavyweight on. That's what it is. He thought of someone, that's a true heavyweight was going to give him problems or stop him. And that wasn't the case. I think Kurt has an obsession with Fury. I don't think I do at all. I just want to see what he can do. Don't worry. I mean, here's the thing, just like any other fighter, like I used to make videos about Arslanbek Markmadov. How many Arslanbek Markmadov videos have I made since he's lost? Probably one. And that was him explaining like what happened to him and nobody cared. I mean, as a content creator, you have to sway where people's interest is. Tyson Fury is a hot topic in boxing because he's the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. So what he says and does matters, because being a champion is more than just being a fighter. You're also a role model, and you're also, an example to other people. Okay, you owe it as a fighter and having the character as being a sportsman and an athlete, because people look up to you. Okay, get it straight, people. Yeah, Tyson Fury is a champion. Tyson Fury is a former unified champion. Tyson Fury has never been defeated. He has one draw to Deontay Wilder back in 2018. He's claiming to be the best fighter in the world. That's news already right there. That gives you enough buzz. In fact, he says he's the best fighter ever. That gives you more buzz, because now people are going to think, oh, he's arrogant. He may be. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe he's confident that he's the best. We won't know that until they fight. So what's happening? We talk about it until the fight happens, right? That's why we're here. We're here for this discussion. So to say I'm obsessed with somebody, no, that's not true. It's the hot topic at the time based on what's going on at the time. He hasn't been defeated and he's the champ. Counterpunch. Lemon and ginger. Yeah, man. I have this concoction that I'll make. I'm going to have to go to the store pretty soon and make some. I was thinking about, because I was going to make some tea, because I had some tea last night. I had 2 cups and then I passed out for like 3 hours. So I was up most of the night. My sleep is done. So I just took a nap between like 8 and like 10 something. So I slept for like 2.5 hours. Kurt, you have not done a prediction on Ryan versus Haney. You know what? You're right. I haven't. Thanks, man. You know what? I'm going to get on that today or tomorrow. It's just, what deterred me from Ryan and Haney? It's not really Haney. It's Ryan. Ryan is, I don't know. He's kind of strange. He's doing some strange things, but, I did see the face-off today, like the DAZN face-off. Look, between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, those guys grew up together. Okay, and I'm giving you guys a small breakdown between Ryan Haney and Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Those guys grew up together. They fought and beat each other in the amateurs, and you can tell there was no real bad blood between those dudes. It ain't anyway. They're just fighting now, and they're young. There's a lot of testosterone, right? No, I don't think that at all. I think, that was pretty much one of the, blandest face-offs that I've seen. Those guys pretty much talked as though they were like teenagers talking about what they used to do, So yeah, they, that wasn't, what it is. But yeah, I will do a prediction. Absolutely. It's criminal Wilder never fought Joshua, Al Heyman, and Finkel. They didn't want to give in to the demands of a bigger promotional company and, or a foreign network. And at the time it was DAZN. They didn't want to give in to that. Fools. See, if they knew what they know now, they probably would have done it. Especially knowing that, hey, no, Wilder would be beat by Fury twice and get beat by another heavyweight that's a former champion, and then he couldn't fight him. Look, that's their problem. I've been telling people forever. Admit it, Kurt. Fury vids do the best numbers out of every boxer. Um, you know what, Saint Don? He does good numbers. I mean, like exactly, like he is like. Why wouldn't you not do videos about Tyson Fury? Because people want to watch it. It's not like I don't do videos on other fighters. You know what I mean? That would be different. Like, but like as far as Tyson goes and Usyk, it's a beautiful combination of what people want to see. People tell you, you guys tell me what I need to be doing as far as you guys being my audience. You know, you guys are the reason I make videos. I love to make videos, don't get me wrong, because I love boxing and I love to talk about boxing. But the amount of views show how many people give a shit about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So, like, that's standard. So say Don, yeah, you're right. He does good numbers. But so does Usyk and Joshua. You know, Jarrell Miller did for a while. But I mean, let's just face it. Jarrell Miller's been beaten, so nobody really cares anymore. You know what I mean? Like, look, it's like this. Like when a fighter loses, you know, you may have like a week or two grace period to make videos to discuss them. After that, people don't care. You lost, okay, we're on to the next. You know, that's it. Well, Dillian White was back in 2021, and Deontay Wilder was AJ, was so Francis and Ghana. Okay. A champ. A champ, not the champ. Hmm. Okay. Hey, Kurt, I'm really interested in what Tyson says after losing to Usyk. I'm more interested in the propaganda that will be thrown around by the likes of Gareth Davis and the Talk Sports crew. Well, those are all side stories that I look forward to. I do think about that as well. Honestly, though, I think I'm not as in a comparison of like 2021 and 22, 23. I'm doing less videos. Well, for one, the I feel that the quality of videos are better versus the views were a lot more. I still do a million views a month or more. Okay, beautiful. But back then it was maybe a million and a half, 2 million, 2.5 million a month because I did more videos. Now I'm not as I don't want to get burnt out on something I love to do. That's why I don't like there are some times like yesterday. Well, was it yesterday or the day before? Well, I think it was the day before. I did 9 videos. A couple years ago, that was a standard. You know, 4 or 5 is pretty much standard now. If I do 4, I'm okay. I'll just post some tomorrow. I may do 9 at a time, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like post all 9. Sometimes I do because they're different topics, you know, or they're explaining something. Ryan ain't wearing drag yet. Oof. Damn, I know y'all what y'all doing. Um, Easy win for Haney. Turkey Al milkshake makes all the dream fights. Respect. Usyk showed his full potential in that Marco Hulk fight. Hulk attacked Usyk during the face off. Usyk gave him a beautiful beating. Puff also loves to make videos. You guys are a trip. I'm not even talking about that cat. Seems weird that AJ doesn't have a belt, yet he does. The highest vid numbers, and people make videos on everything about the guy from when he gets a haircut, when he goes on vacation. Well, that I think goes into the realm of like tabloids. You know what I mean? Like, who is he dating? You know, who is he slamming? What is he in? What is he into? Stuff like that. You know, like a lot of people want to know, especially when you have a crew like AJ does, and he has an entourage, and then their circle is like a well-oiled machine. Like no one says much, so you don't have people leaking shit like, oh man, I heard AJ, like AJ wanted to date Beyonce. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I could so see him asking for someone like that simply because that ain't gonna happen. you know, Counterpunch Kurt is one of the more reasonable, level-headed pundits on YouTube. Well, you just got to keep it real, man. I mean, I just, I just understand. It's like you have to keep it on a, like people watch videos and numbers are good. Sometimes they're not as good as they used to be. But understand this is all entertainment. Mr. Beautiful Blues. The punch was so low, Daniel could have poked a sneaky finger up Usyk's bum. Nah, it wasn't that low, man. It wasn't that low. No. Do you think that Fury will be a better matchup for Usyk than AJ, and why? I have no idea. Master Matthew, I have no idea. Because he's only fought Wilder. That's it. He's only fought Wilder. I mean, that's it. um, it's just the styles that are put in front of each other, and how that formulates. Fights are like chemistry projects, man. You got to put them together and see what happens. Sometimes they explode, sometimes they do nothing. Joshua ain't slamming a woman. St. Don, let's have a drink here in Germany at Euro 224. You got tickets? That's what I want to hear. Somebody getting together and getting wasted. Christopher Stamp, Kurt, you have noticed how Team Fury has already started making excuses if he loses. Do you think he will man up this time, or he will duck him? I don't think we have time for ducks now. I don't think there is no more of the bullshit. The bullshit stops. AJ, an incel. What's an incel? Anthony Joshua versus Huey Fury could happen, and who wins? AJ wanted Beyonce. He got Lizzo. Boxing needs Usyk to beat Fury like boxing needed AJ to beat Ngannou. Nah, well, I wouldn't go that far. Why isn't he married? I'm not married, but only because I'm ugly. I'm not married. Okay. Mr. Beautiful Blues. Okay. Kurt, how come no talk about the undercards for Fury and Usyk? I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I think they're gonna have a shitty undercard. That's what I think. I think it's gonna be shit. Mm-hmm. The AJ Waxing Johnson. I don't know what that is. Jermaine Franklin called out Francis on going on 9 days ago. I bet he did. I don't know. Be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm gonna say. Kurt, remember in 2022, Fury said to Leon Edwards, "Hold the belt as long as he could." That's what Fury is doing. Only 3 title defenses in 4 years. Absolute joke. Laura Woods laid on the plate, yet he didn't plate her out. Don't forget, Usyk walked in December 2022 and April 2023. The hypocrisy of some fans are crazy. Stay away from marriage, brothers. They will want to put all the light on the main event. Kurt, so you think Usyk has to KO Fury not to get cheated on by the scorecards? Have said from day one. All this talk of Usyk being cruiserweight, he will KO Fury. Well, Christopher Stamp, I think it would be in his best interest to do so, to guarantee. I mean, that's the only way that we can't. That's the only way he won't be cheated if cheating is there for him. If there is corruption, I think if there's a way for him to lose, that's how we would lose by decision. What's your position on Josh Taylor postponing the fight with? Dude, I'm sick of Josh Taylor. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to see Josh Taylor versus Catterall too. You know what? Because I would have tolerated it, but I don't like Josh Taylor's done. Josh Taylor, I liked him. I liked his performance against Ramirez. You know what I mean? But he's done. The scorecards are already filled out for Fury. God of War. I hope not, but is that I think Usyk has to do something, miraculous. He has to do it. Salute Kurt. Hope you're doing well. Keep up the good work. Andrew 23. AJ says he wants Beyonce settled for AKA Skins got rid of Ben Haney. He's with Ben Haney. Haney, I don't know what that means. Thank God, me too. I used to like, but not now. What are you all prepping excuses? Or were you not confident? Not about confidence. I mean, we'll know who wins by looking at the fight. We will judge the fight how we judge it. Here's the thing. St. Don, I want to ask you a serious question, okay? If Usyk beats Tyson Fury every round and he wins the decision, will you be one of the ones that say, oh, well, he still won, and will you still make excuses? Because a lot of, don't be like the Josh Taylor fans. And that's what I noticed. That's why I don't care for Josh Taylor anymore, because Josh Taylor was like, oh, man, I beat this guy. I'm like, how in the hell can you say you beat Jack Catterall when Jack Catterall dropped you, outworked you, outpointed you? Kurt, do you have Patreon? I don't. I don't have Patreon. Well, no, I mean, like, if it's close, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's close, that means, hey, Tyson Fury, showed that he can compete with anybody. He can survive a dangerous fight like Francis Ngannou. Skrilla 50 in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. If Usyk wins, he wins. Okay, well, that's not what I asked you. If Usyk wins and he gets cheated and he doesn't get the nod, you know what I mean? Because some people, though, here's the thing. Some people just won't allow other fighters to look or to be in any type of, losing situation. Like, I loved Holyfield over Lennox Lewis, but I knew damn well better to say that Holyfield beat Lennox Lewis their first fight. Now, that would have been jacked up of me. And I didn't like Lennox Lewis. I wanted somebody to knock his ass out. He was dry. You know what I mean? He could fight, but I mean, he was like Lewis to me, bro, was like, because I know Lennox Lewis called me flaky one time. Oh, he's flaky. Lewis was bland, and he was a good fighter, but he was bland. I didn't like him. I didn't like his personality. I didn't like shit about him, really. I mean, just to be fair, I mean, he's older now, so who cares? But then, bro, I mean, I didn't like Lennox Lewis. I didn't like him. I liked Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson, it was crazy. He talked shit, I mean, he was just Mike, bro, Josh Taylor has got his mouth as his balls. All he does is talk. Well, poetic justice happened for him. He took that L. Teofimo Lopez beat him. And that's that. He just couldn't. He wasn't the better man that night. Josh Taylor should cross over heavyweight. Come on, man. Kurt, I am seeing an excuse coming up from either of the parties, and the Fury versus Usyk not taking place. What is what us what is your thoughts on this? It has to happen. It has to happen. I mean, there won't be any more excuses this time. Because see, if it doesn't happen, like if this fight gets postponed again, people are going to look at it like, you know what? I'm sick of that. I'm sick of this fight. Why Usyk could be cheating won't have what have I missed? It's the low blow stuff. The way he went with the low blow. A lot of people thought he was faking that, and he really wasn't hurt. You know, and see here's the deal. The faking comes from the whole idea of over exaggerating or not showing true emotion, faking like you're hurt and you're not. Okay, I'm going to tell you how that could work in someone's advantage in favor. You guys remember Montel Griffin? Montel Griffin was knocked out by Roy Jones, and he was dropped by Roy, and then he was on his knees, and Roy hit him, and then he made like he couldn't get up and continue, and they gave the fight to Montel Griffin. That's what's happening in this situation that people are accusing Usyk of doing. So yeah, Montel Griffin, he won the first fight against Roy by disqualification because he claimed that he couldn't get up. You know, and what Roy did, because and then for some reason though, and this is what I didn't understand at the time, and you guys hear me talk shit about Floyd, but then here's a counterpunch in defense of Floyd. Understand, Floyd's big brothers, his American big brothers, was Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. Floyd looked up to Roy Jones. He hung out with Roy Jones. A lot of the shit that Roy Jones did, Floyd does now. What Floyd does now, he got from hanging out with Roy Jones. See, Mike was a little older for one, but then he was like that guy. He wanted to be like Mike Tyson. Floyd, money, pretty boy Mayweather. Okay? So, Floyd hung out with Roy. Okay? Roy was the man. Nobody could beat Roy at any division at any time. And it was pretty much understood. The fighter of the decade. Let me give you guys a little history lesson about Floyd and Roy Jones Jr. Floyd was the little brother of Roy Jones. He's seen what Roy Jones did, but he's seen what Roy Jones went through. That shit with Montel Griffin was bullshit. It was almost like a ploy to take the perfect excellency from Roy Jones Jr. You know what I mean? They robbed him of his perfect record because he was like this overall perfect fighter. You know what I mean? And Montel, he was put in a situation and he was like, I can't continue. Oh, right? And what I didn't know at the time, and I didn't understand at the time, I didn't understand that there was that type of racism and prejudice, should I say, in boxing. I didn't know that at the time because I was like, I'm always for giving a person the benefit of the doubt. Young Roy steamrolled his ass. I didn't know Larry Merchant was racist. I found that out. Here's the weird thing. I found out Larry Merchant from looking at him for damn near 40 years. Okay? 30 years plus watching Larry Merchant give these interviews about, well, you think people really want to see that performance in that type of fighter? You think they want to pay for that? Like talking to Bernard and talking to other fighters and talking to Roy Jones Jr. and talking to Floyd Mayweather and talking to these guys. And he always had some kind of like shitty comment to say. And I was thinking like, okay, he's an asshole. But no, it was a lot deeper than that. It was a lot deeper than that. He told Bernard Hopkins, why are you fighting your mandatory? You know, why are you fighting this kind of fight? Do you think the public wants to fight this kind of fight? And Bernard Hopkins is really outspoken. He was like, Larry, stop being ignorant. I had to fight my mandatory. I don't care what you say or anybody else says. They were going to strip me if I didn't fight my mandatory, Larry. If you did your job right, you would understand what that meant. You have to understand that. Well, we're just paying you for nothing. That's all right, Larry. If they pay you and you don't do nothing at all. If you guys remember that. And over the years, you know, when Floyd was a young buck, when he sounded like, let me see if I can get it right. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody from Grand Rapids, Michigan. You know, I want to thank HBO that, you know, that I'm back, and I thank HBO for having me. And then over the years, you heard Larry's talk shit. And then bit by bit, Floyd kind of got a little bit more, you know, intolerable over him. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. Hulk Hogan is a race. I'll get to that in a second. Kind of way away from boxing though, but because I really didn't watch wrestling like that. My cousins did. I did not. Well, listening to Larry Merchant, and it didn't click until Fury. Here's the crazy way. Best way to contribute to your channel. Become a member and donate. Mac, appreciate you, brother. But listen, and it hit me, and it was crazy because three things happened big. One, Tyson Fury stopped Wilder. Whoever thought Fury would stop Wilder? Two, COVID happened. Three, Glovegate happened. Okay, in the midst of all that, me going back and forth with LDBC channels, right? They're saying, oh, Tyson Fury, you know, cheated and all this, and you know what that was about. I had to handle racism two different ways because at the same time, they're saying Tyson Fury cheated Wilder. And then I'm like, okay, that's bullshit. You guys are saying that because Tyson Fury's white. Yeah, I had to defend that whole reality versus then you got Larry Merchant talking about, oh, we're just enjoying this right now. You're enjoying what? What are you enjoying? I don't understand. Oh, I'm happy that, you know, all these times these black fighters would win. Now we finally got someone. Boom. It hit just like that. Then it made sense. I was like, oh shit. Now I get why you gave everybody that was of note that desired and deserved respect. That's why you gave them a hard time. You hated the idea of them beating the fighters that they fought because you didn't like them anyway. You were mad because there wasn't a white fighter that did what you wanted them to do until you seen it happen. Now I'm just enjoying this. You can't say it's about nationality. You can't say that simply because look how many times these jerks are calling. You know, it was crazy. Larry, and then you thought about it. Larry talked about Roy. He criticized Floyd. He criticized Bernard. He criticized Sugar Shane Mosley. And then you start thinking like, okay, well, you didn't really do that with a lot of other fighters. You know, now you gave me confirmation that lets me know, dude, you might be wearing a white sheet, running down some black kids down a country road with a truck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't, like, it just hit me like, okay, why are you happy because Tyson won and he's not even from this country? Nationalism is one thing, but now you're because the white guy won. So now look at this. Stay with me. I had to deal with that shit, hearing that bullshit from Wilder fans because Wilder's the black dude that got beat by the white guy. Now we're seeing Larry Merchant, the guy that was on Showtime that hosted so many boxing events, historical boxing events for the last 35 years until they shut down. Now we hear this guy say, I'm happy the white guy won. So you had to deal with both of these things going at the same time on top of COVID in the middle. Larry Merchant does have clan member energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and And it didn't hit me to then. I'm like, well, he's just kind of being critical and he's just there for the fans. No, he wasn't. He was trying to say something contrary or contradicting to what was going on at the time. You can't question a person's mandatory and say nobody wanted to see that. You're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, well, why are you fighting your mandatory? What are you talking about? It's a mandatory, jerk off. It's a mandatory. And he's asking questions like that. These are questions that he asked these fighters. Now that you know that it was connected to a preference, now that makes you understand, like, oh man, you really, okay, this is what you were really about, Larry. And that's messed up. You know? You know my thoughts on Arsenal, man. Arsenal fans. Who cares about the color of country or of a boxer? It's one guy versus the other guy. Stephen Strange. Yeah, most of everybody, I would like to think my community of people think the way you think, Stephen. But unfortunately, it's a lot of people that don't. And the people that didn't, or the person that didn't, was Larry Merchant. Larry Merchant been around since he's been around 60 years. Larry Merchant is in his 90s now, like late 80s, early 90s. So is Usyk a cheat now? No. And here's the thing. Usyk's not a cheat in my book, simply because he got up. It took him a while, but he got up. He got up before the standard 5 minutes. If he would have stayed down below then you would have had to, wait a minute, why isn't he attempting to get up? Montel Griffin, when he got hit by Roy Jones, by the way, Golovkin did that to David Lemieux. Same shit. You know what I mean? David Lemieux got up, but he didn't make a conspiracy out of it. He didn't use it as an excuse to sit on the canvas and hopefully they can disqualify it over a foul that he can no longer continue because he's been injured by way of an illegal blow. Usyk was hit with a low blow, blows from Dubois where he didn't go down or react in any way. Ukrainians are supporting Ukrainians, Kurt. Yeah. St. Don, that's the whole point. Americans supposed to support Americans, just like, any other, like you support Tyson Fury. He's British. You're British, right? I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. So what the hell is Larry Merchant saying, I'm enjoying this? And then he brought color up. Like, you don't do that type shit, man. Come on, man. Triple D also controlled his own destiny after Usyk got up and then chose to quit from a jab. That's true. Appreciate Somalians don't think they're black. Okay. Nah. So, Wilder can put a hard one, but boxing... We have a super chat coming with a dub. And it's from Oogie. Get well soon, Kurt. Man, thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate the wishes because, like, I think well, I say that because when I go and run errands, because I have to leave here at, what time is it? Okay, it's just 12. Good. I don't know. But like when I go outside, I feel the chills, I just hope it's not COVID because then I'd have to quarantine. But it's funny about quarantining now versus back in the day. Quarantining now is weird because quarantining now it's like, do you see how they cut the shit in half? It's like 5 days or 7 days when it was like a whole 14. It was crazy. Bobby Collins, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Bobby Collins in the building. Yeah, appreciate it, Oogie. That was big. You know, keep them coming. They say, but no, I mean, yeah, it was a lot of racism stuff, a lot of stuff that was real eye opening in 2020. You know, and it made you reflect. But like I was saying about Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather, Floyd seen everything Roy went through, and you know, and when he got that age, because understand, Roy Jones Jr., man, he was a party guy, not with drugs or anything like that. No, he was a dude. Roy Jones Jr. was a he was a hell of a fighter, but I mean, he had a lot of chicks, bro. He had a lot of chicks. Roy Jones Jr. This is crazy. Roy Jones, going from place to place and state to state and stuff like that. This man found out that he had two twin boys. I don't remember where they were at, because remember, for the longest he was a commentator for HBO in between fights and training camps. And in one of those things, because listen, this was way before HBO 24/7. Roy Jones Jr. had a family function where he found out that he had two twin boys and they looked like him too, identical twins. They were his. I mean, like Roy was young, and he did his thing. And see, guys like Floyd seen Roy Jones Jr. and seen what he did, and he wanted it. I mean, it is what it is. No such thing as urine thing, quarantine, Kurt. Oh, um, Usyk is a better boxer than Vladimir or Vitali. Well, I don't really care about Vitali because he's not a factor, because Vitali never fought Tyson Fury. So I think the whole thing is, was he a better boxer than Vladimir? Yeah, he was, because he has more dimensions and his footwork's better. Um, they're just two different fighters. In fact, Usyk was a little cocky when he was younger. And then he challenged the Klitschko's like on a live television show. Oh yeah, Usyk, young Usyk, and at that time he was like cruiserweight, but he was like, well, where would it warrant, and how, and what will I need to do to beat you guys? You Vitali for your WBC, or Vladimir Klitschko, and Vladimir just kind of, what I mean. You could tell the smile that he gave. It wasn't a smile that he was happy. Almost like, this motherfucker just challenged me on national TV. Yeah, I think an uppercut, the upper part of Dubois' fist may have been on or slightly above the belly button. No, it wasn't. Because see, he got hit on the belt line. The belt line was below, was above the trunks. There you go. And the everlasting bullshit we have. Yeah, Roy is super. I support fighters based on style, not on national origin. Yeah, I mean, I don't care where you're from either. You know what I mean? But like, here's the thing. Sometimes when you do have a fighter, you do have some type of interest when it's based on nationality. Like, I'm biased of Cuban fighters because I know I have family there. You know what I'm saying? But but that don't sway my perception of what it is. Just like I thought in 2018 or 19, maybe 20, that Ortiz would beat Dillian White. But that would be still a good fight. See, if Dillian White wasn't a good fighter at that time, we shouldn't be talking about that anyway. I just wanted them to fight, and they never fought, which sucked. You know, I love Roy. Yeah, Roy Jones was the dude, man. Even black love from Russia are not Russians, they're Africans or black Americans. Okay. Carl Young, the crazy ass weather here in the deep south. That and the pollen, Kurt. Hot one day, cold the next. Yeah. I don't know what. Let me see. What's the weather like here? See, now, it's 55 degrees here. You know, but if you look outside, you swear it's 70, but it's not, you know? And I think we had some cloudy days too. And then the cloudy days, then it gets colder because it's still March, but it's almost April. So in here in April, you got to deal with pollen, not necessarily cold weather. You know, maybe a light jacket or something, you know? I fought roosters with Roy Jones down in Hackley, Louisiana back in the day. Yeah, Roy, man, you know, that was one cat I have to meet, you know, before we all get crusty and old, you know, because he's a lot older. He's older than me. So Don pretending to support British fighters, but they have to be called Fury to count. Ukrainians will support Ukrainians, but if you ask them whose favorite is Mike Tyson, so nationality not always true. Well, Mike's an icon, bro. That's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's a living icon. See, understand this about Mike. Mike is a living legend. Living legends are living legends. They are, and they should be, which I'm glad people are starting to understand Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had a really jacked up childhood. It was real challenging. He went through basically everything that someone could go through. Drug abuse, sexual abuse, drugs, death of a child. You know what I mean? Like everything that could have happened to Mike Tyson pretty much happened to Mike Tyson. You know, and he's still like, and he always comes back. He always finds a way through all the stuff that he went through, and like a lot of people that was in the tabloids, they're not around to even talk about what they went through anymore because they're dead. Okay. So Mike Tyson should be, appreciated now, but Kurt, if an average fighter like Wilder can be champion, then you know enough. Yeah, I mean, but it depends on, who was backing him. Kurt, would Roy beat Tarver in his prime? Stupid question, I know. Yeah, it is a stupid question. You know why it's a stupid question, Marlon? Is because what people don't understand about Roy Jones Jr., fought Antonio Tarver when he came back down. And then this is what they overlook this very, very easily. And people, I don't even think people know this. And I'm going to tell you something about Roy versus Antonio Tarver. Roy beat Antonio Tarver. Facts. He beat Antonio Tarver. Okay, by Y's and N's, do you guys know that Roy beat Antonio Tarver the first fight? I mean, honestly, can somebody give me yes, I knew, or no, I didn't know? Can somebody honestly, can you guys, all 200 and plus of you, can any of you guys tell me that that's what it is? Didn't Roy pop dirty? Yeah, he popped dirty. And then here's the thing. That nulled out. That him popping dirty didn't matter. Why? Yes, okay. You guys knew Roy was untouchable in his prime. Sure. Okay. So, come on, give me. Did anybody not know? Let's say that. Did anybody not know? He beat Antonio Tarver. Antonio got his ass the second round. Boop. Listen, Roy Jones, he tested positive, but the guy that he fought was also dirty. That's what happened. They both popped dirty. Yeah, Roy was probably, I remember flying back to Shreveport because I flew into Shreveport. I came back into town, I flew into Shreveport, and I was flying with this guy named Kevin. Kevin was from Connecticut, and we talked about boxing that whole time. I seen the highlights on YouTube a few years ago. Roy Jones was the real deal. Yeah, Roy Jones, bro. Yeah, he was just extraordinary. Roy versus Usyk would have been a close fight. Because you understand, that fight had to be at what? Cruiserweight? It would have been interesting because Usyk, well, Usyk was powerful at cruiserweight too. Kurt, you're a true warrior. Going live while under the weather. Absolutely. And on that note, this shot is for everyone. Hopefully it clears my throat up and opens my right nostril. Here you go, guys. Cheers to you. Ugh. He showed game file here, locally in Louisiana, Oklahoma. Back in the day, about 5 minutes from my house. Good times. Dillian White should fight Jarrell Miller with no drug testing for PEDs. That'd be a good fight, though. Jarrell Miller should fight Dillian White. Didn't Anthony Joshua say that? Tarver was a southpaw. Yeah, Tarver was. I have the most respect for Joshua. He takes every fight. He's taken enough. Hard to pit past against present boxing was completely different in the 90s and before. Way more aggressive, more technical today. You guys remember Vasily Jurov? You guys remember that guy? He was an awkward fighter, bro. He was Russian. And dude, that dude had a weird punch. His left hand to the stomach will hurt you. I'll do a dab to that. Cheers. Red Eye, Jedi. 420 UK. Counterpunch to you. Wilder versus Miller. Well, I don't know, man. Wilder versus Miller is a fight that, like, it should be in America. Unfortunately, like, heavyweight American boxing is exactly where it was 20 years ago. It was the same way when Lennox Lewis left, unfortunately. We don't have any more heavyweights no more. Not credible ones. Jarrell Miller, you got beat. And Deontay Wilder, former champion, you got beat. You know, there's no one really else. I mean, that's it. Mostly everything's great. See, where Ukraine used to be, there's where the UK is now. So I think that's another, like, precedent to get Usyk out of there. You know? I don't think most boxers today have heard of yesterday's boxers. It depends on how old you are, and it depends on, see, now though, the good thing about the internet, you can look and study and look up anybody. It's easier to research fighters of yesteryear: Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, you know, Primo Carnera, Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson, Igor Johansson, you know, Sonny Liston, the old Mongoose, Ezra Charles. Like, there's so many, Gene Tunney. Like, you could look up someone now because of the internet. The internet makes it so much easier than when I was coming up. And what people don't understand, like, bro, I'm not old. I was a historian of boxing. If I wanted to find out anything, I would either have to get a book about that fighter or a magazine. So we didn't have the internet. The internet, social media was magazines and books. You know what social media was? Hey, man, did you hear Mike Tyson got knocked out? That's social media. That was our social media right there. I'm sorry, it wasn't even like this. It was like this. Hey, man. Hey, man, you hear what happened to Mike Tyson? He bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. That was social media. When you actually got on the phone and you talked to people, that's social media right there. We didn't have all this shit we have now. So if you are a boxing fan, hopefully you've done your research on what a fighter went through. But it's like in this era of, like, millennials and shit like that, you know, It's like the shit happens every day. You know, dude, when Mike Tyson bit the ear off of Evander Holyfield, I was 17. That shit sounded all around the world. It was on every news station. It was in every magazine. It was in every newspaper. You know what I'm saying? Like things that you lived through meant more to you because you lived through them. When I was 5 years old, the space shuttle in Houston, Texas blew up. Blew up. Like 12 people on that spacecraft died because it exploded. And it was something about it was cold, and then the cold interacted with the heat, and then it made an explosion. It was some shit that they didn't calculate, and everyone died. I remember that. Was it 1986? Was it 86? Because if it was 86, that would put me at 6, turning 7. Who believes in a different dimension or a parallel universe is possible? I don't know. Quantum physics stuff, that I forget his name right now. He's on some wild stuff. That or 84. Yeah, I think it was 84 though. But I remember vaguely when I was that young, because that was like the biggest thing that happened, and like death to a child. Like I thought about death, like, man, that's scary. You mean they don't come back? Somebody died. What does that mean? Because your understanding of death as a child, like, okay, it's horrifying. You know, shit. Sometimes it still is. Not Neil Tyson, the other cat. That talks about the Anunnaki, the black dude, Billy Carson. Billy Carson. Yeah, yeah. So you see a lot of shorts about that cat. Put in the fact how Tyson grew up. Yeah. And the thing is, if Tyson is 50, what is he, 56, 57? I mean, you grew up with these guys and they weren't hella old. He was the youngest heavyweight champion, So it's like, he is my age. Okay. Antonio Garcia del Norte. Like stuff you went through meant more to you. Like, man, I remember when that happened. Mike's gonna kill Jake Paul. I hope so. Usyk is probably the only heavyweight that trains as hard as Joshua. I think he trains differently, but he trains hard as shit. I think the things that he does, like I've been in, like the last week, I've been trying to do the double skip jump rope method. Like he does effortlessly. Right? Well, lunch break is over, mate. Thanks for going live, Kurt. Catch you later. Marlon Thornell, counterpunch to you, brother. Catch you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your shift. Joshua doesn't want the Wilder fight. Styles make fights if he lets them hands go. He's fought most ranking fighters out of all current heavyweights. Don't matter who he beats. People will find someone else to moan about. I'm not even a fan of AJ. Micah's Jake Paul in the 5th round, maybe. If you are on the level, it's preparing for the opponent. Yeah, Kurt, I got Ring Magazine, KO, and Boxing Monthly back in the 80s. Yep, and 90s, and I knew more about boxing than any other of my peers at the time. Shit. That was the only way to get boxing news. It was. Unless you saw like little specials that Showtime put together. HBO put together about the fighters. Double jump rope with the jump rope is hard as hell. Yeah, man. I've been trying to get that shit down, Are you crazy? Wilder can't box. Bill Keevan, hopefully Usyk wins clear so even Mauricio can't give the win to Luke. And he's trying. This dude is wanting 3 extra refs. Why? So you can buy 3 extra refs, so those 3 extra refs will all pick Fury? Come on, bro. No, stop. We already know that. You think about Mike fighting. What have I missed, Kurt? What's Usyk done? Elliot, nothing. This is what Tyson is accusing Usyk of. Challenger space shuttle. AJ's opponents in his last 4 haven't been good enough, but it's still 4 fights in 11 months, a solid rebuild. Yeah, so that means he's rebuilt, right? Ernesto Hoost, Peter Arts, Jared Anderson, Michael Hunter, Jarrell Miller, Deontay Wilder, and Jermaine Franklin are top 5 heavyweights. They're pretty much the only ones, though. They'd win 3 in any era in the top heavyweights. Okay, Bob, that's what's up. I watched most of the greatest fights from the past on ESPN Classic. Yeah, I miss ESPN Classic. I would probably watch that more than regular boxing if it was on, because you could always watch it. And then they were pretty good remastered fights, even if they were black and white. They were good. Accusing him of being a cheat simply because he stayed down for 3 minutes, over 3 minutes. Fury calls Usyk a cheat, then throws elbows. Now, ain't that the truth? He should do a Fury fight in Safari and Pianetta, or just fight the same guy 3 times. Yep, because he did all the above. Fury calls Usyk a cheat. I already got that. Yeah, man. So this was a good live stream, man. I really appreciate you guys coming in. I just wish I had more energy, simply because I'm under the weather. So I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna take a shower and then lay down for a little bit. Have you seen the rerun of the punch that AJ hit in Ngannou? I don't know how to write. They think AJ didn't really punch him. I'm like, you dudes are idiots. It's like he is not hitting. No, he hit him. He hit him. Oh yeah, he hit Ngannou hard. He hit him. Matter of fact, the first one was at the end. He caught him at the end of that punch. The second one was more of a chopping punch, and Ngannou didn't see it. The third one was the finisher. That's it. Because when he got up the second time, like he said, I don't remember anything from the end of round 1 on forward. So he doesn't remember anything. So he was already hurt. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I think we'll see what goes down. But I know punches land when this is not a Malik Scott and Deontay Wilder. He don't want no rematch. He didn't ask for one either, did he? Nope. He wanted Tyson Fury just like Vladimir Klitschko did. They wanted Tyson Fury's ass again. Like they felt Tyson Fury tricked him or something. I've got you, Udosa. I'm the winner. Ding, ding. But anyway, you guys, be good. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to take a shower. I follow you for years. Salute. Antonio Garcia del Norte. I appreciate the support. You guys be blessed. I will be back probably Friday. Definitely Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your day. And everyone, golden shower hour. Oh my God. Has been counterpunched. Peace. Appreciate you, Stuart.